Okay, here we are on page 43, and I chose number 39 here because of this orange dot, which indicates on page 28 in the book there's a question that's similar in case you're having trouble. Okay, so I'm assuming that you read this question about is the U.S. women's soccer team in 2004. Now the way they get these numbers for this dot plot is they take the opponent's score, they take the U.S. score and subtract the opponent's score from the U.S. score. So, what does that mean? Well, if we look at the graph, what does this -2 mean? In fact, that's the question for letter A. What does that -2 mean? That means when you subtracted the scores, the opponent's score was 2 goals higher, indicating subtracting you get a negative number. So there were only 2 games that this team lost, and it was by 2 goals. Okay, that's what that -2 represents. 2 games lost by 2 goals. Letter B, what does the graph tell us? Well, here's the deal. You want to describe. This course is more about like telling a story about what's going on with these numbers. What can we tell from just these numbers about this season, this 2004 season? Well, there's a fair amount of information. They only lost 2 games. They tied 4 games. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games that they won by 1 goal. And then you can go on, and you could say winning by 4 goals or more is a lot in soccer, and they did that quite a few times. In fact, some of the games they won by, in fact, one game they won by 8 goals, which is quite a lot in soccer. Okay, so that's the kind of story you could tell about what the information this graph is giving us. Okay, there you go. So, hope I didn't over-explain that, but let's go to the next question. Each of our chapters starts out with a case study, and we read the case study and take a look at it, and you may not know what to do with that case study. Well, the whole point is that over the course of the chapter, we get some tools to kind of unwrap that case study. All right, now, lots of times in AP Stats, notice how much reading there is. There's lots of reading in AP Stats, and a lot of times it's really about, can I unwrap, again, what's going on in this problem? What is this situation? You got to get a handle on that first, then you can apply the math that we're learning. So they took a group of college students and divided them randomly into 2 groups. One was going to get, external reasons for writing a poem, such as recognition or pleasing their parents. And then the other group was going to get internal reasons, such as expressing yourself or being creative, or it's in you and it feels good to get it on paper, that kind of thing. So we want to know if giving these groups these either external or internal reasons for writing a poem would affect the creativity. That's what's going on. Now, the students wrote a poem, and they were graded based on their creativity. Okay, so let's take a look at what happened. So all you have to do, because they asked you to compare these 2 dot plots, is just tell a story about what's going on. So you can notice, or I noticed right away, that this range is about the same from the high to the low as far as the rating. So here's for external reasons and here's for internal reasons. But I also noticed that even though the range is about the same, this group is lower, slid down. See, this whole group is a little bit higher. You could also say that there were several poems that had low scores of 5. None of them were in that range for the internal reasons. Nobody scored higher than 25 in the external reasons, but we had a couple good poems here, very creative poems that were also both above 25. And you could also take a look at where the middle of the graph is. So if we take a look at where's the middle about, so it looks like the middle's right about there, And this one, the middle, is about there. So like the average score in this group is for the internal reasoning is a little bit higher than the average score for the external reasoning. So you could say, based on all of that information, it seems, because in stats we never say we definitely have a correct answer. It seems like the internal rewards, okay, those internal reasons for writing a poem would tend to get students to write a poem that was a little bit more creative, at least for this group of students. Again, never commit to anything. All right, so that's what you would write. Just write a story and try to include anything and everything that you can that makes sense. There.